Welcome to the Single Dad Project, where we're building better lives one project at a time. Every week, we'll be tackling single dad struggles with 6 actionable projects. These projects are spiritual, relational, intellectual, physical, financial, and business. From budgeting to bonding with your kids, we've got you covered with real talk and practical tips. Hit that subscribe button, jump into our weekly community challenges, stay accountable, drop your wins in the comments, and let's grow together. New episodes drop every Monday. My name is Henry. Over there is PJ, our producer. Just want to mention the elephant in the room. I look like Fat Thor today. I got blonde hair. I got the bushy cat on my face. All of this is probably going to change next week, honestly. So just want to, if you're going from the first video that you saw, if you saw it, I'm in a hoodie, all covered up in black. Today's difference because we're getting into it. I want to start with, this is something that I've done in the past with clients and things like that. I want to start with a frame or a mindset. Everything that I'm going to be talking about today, I want you to take with a Bruce Lee philosophy. Bruce Lee said, and he's attributed to this quote, absorb what is useful, discard what is useless, and add what is specifically your own. I've used that in the past with clients that I used to train on a personal training level to get into better shape. And I would say to people, take the things the advice that I'm giving you and use whatever works for you and just dump the rest. It doesn't matter. As an example, if somebody's like, I don't like eating avocados, and I'm suggesting eat avocados, just get rid of the avocados. That's fine. So in this episode, anything that you hear on the show, if you're like, that's garbage, I'm totally okay with that. Bruce Lee philosophy: absorb what is useful, discard what is useless, and add what is specifically your own. This week, we are going to be working on the core sphere, the inner sphere, which is you. I explained that in the first video, just in a quick explanation here. Basically, when we go into the projects, there's 3 levels. There's you, there's the level outside of that, and then the third level is like beyond, right? So this week, we're focusing on you, single dad. How do the challenges work? Pick a project. Like I said in the beginning, the projects are spiritual, relational, physical, intellectual, financial, and business. And then work that project. As we go through the show here today, I'm going to break down bullet points and give you actionable tips that you can use to get closer to who you are on the inside with respect to these projects. And then last, the beginning is the end and the end is the beginning, and you'll see what I'm talking about when you watch the whole show, if you decide to watch the whole show. So let's get into it. Let's get into the spiritual. Okay, this is the spiritual project. And starting with the first question, who are you? I'm wearing my little avatar shirt today. I am anything I choose to be. That's what it says. So as a single dad, it's like you get pulled in a million different directions, right? And the whole point of this episode today is to figure out, who the hell are you? One of the reasons why I'm not wearing the hoodie today, one of the reasons why I'm letting my hair down today, is because when I go home and I'm chilling, I'm by myself, watching a show, playing games or whatever, the hair is down. By the way, if you're asking, why is the hair blonde? My kid's favorite color is purple, so this thing is going to be purple in a week or so. So who are you? If you don't take time to figure that out, this is what the projects are for. This is what these little mini challenges are for. Second tip, for a lot of people, especially in Western society, the who are you, the answers come from places like the Bible. This is my very, very first Bible. Hardly ever read it. So don't take the things that I'm saying like, oh my God, this is a religious channel. It's not. But I will say that there are a lot of, if you want to call them, philosophical insights in this book that, if you allow yourself, can be very helpful. And I got another one here. This is another Bible that I bought last year because I just wanted to get into it more. What's the difference between the first one and the second one? The first one, not to promote anything, but whatever, is called the New American Bible. This one is called the Complete Jewish Bible, because I'm like, well, I'm learning about, every time I read this stuff, it's always like, what are the definitions? Where do these words come? What am I learning? And if I want to know where I'm coming from, or where this is coming from, I want to dig back into history. I want to dig back into like the core of what I'm talking about here. What is the inner sphere? What is the core? Who are you? So as an example, the reason why I brought these books today is, in the New American Bible, it doesn't really tell you, I mean, sometimes it does, what the Jewish or the Hebrew words mean. And the Jewish Bible, it digs into it a lot. So all that being said, how do I use this project, the spiritual project, to figure out who I am as a single dad, trying to make ends meet, if that's where you are in life? And so we go to the third point in my little outline here. My suggestion is to get out and be still in nature. As I was driving to the studio today, is an awesome full moon out tonight. How many of you ever take the time to notice something like a full moon? Just notice it. I mean, not just like, oh, look, there's a sky and there happens to be a moon out there. Like, just really sit down with it. In this book, Genesis 1, it says God created the heavens and the earth. And my suggestion is, go there. Take time for yourself as a single dad trying to figure this life out. Who are you? And I think one of the easiest, best ways to do it is just to sit in nature. You don't have to read the book. You don't have to get into the Bible. You don't have to get into religion, even though I'm calling it the spiritual project. It's basically helping you tap into who you are. And I think the easiest way to do that is to get out in nature, get away from the cities as far as you can. Or one of the things that I have in my life is I work overnights. So I'm on the roads when everybody's going to bed. By the time I leave work, the sun's not even up yet. It's not even out. And so it's quiet. And on the nights where there's stars out and you can see the planets, I take a moment, just to be like, wow, that's amazing. Like, there's Mars, there's Venus, there's the moon, all this kind of stuff. So just my suggestion in the project of spirituality about who you are is to take a moment, be with nature, to tap into who you are and get a better idea of what that is. Okay, this is the Relational Project. The question on the outline that I have is, what kind of a relationship do you have with you? And in the beginning, these are going to sound very philosophical, but you got to like peel the layers and get through all the bullshit and really sit down with who you are. Here's the exercise. Or before I even get to the exercise, but it bleeds into it. How do you look at yourself in the mirror? That's the question. How do you look at yourself in the mirror? As an example, when I'm looking at myself in the mirror, it's usually when I'm brushing my teeth. I don't really like fix my hair or whatever, but like I have very, very short, and I think as most guys would agree to this, unless you're metrosexual on some level, all of us pretty much don't like spend a whole lot of time in the mirror, right? So this exercise, some of you may laugh. I don't care. This exercise, this mirror exercise, comes from a book called You Can Heal Your Life, written by Louise Hay. If I was to guess, and I may be wrong, but I think the the audience for the book is females who are going through some trauma. If you don't know who Louise Hay is, check her out. I think she's a brilliant person, and this book is very, very helpful. One of the exercises in the book, it's almost in the very beginning of the book, is the mirror exercise. So if you haven't heard about it, here's how it goes. You look in the mirror, and it's kind of like, PJ, you're going to laugh. It's kind of like the Stuart Smalley thing. You look in the mirror, and in the exercise that she describes, you're looking in the mirror and telling yourself, I love you. I care about you. Like all these things that are positive, right? I'm not going to go that specific route, but if you want to, I say go for it. I'll tell you my experience with the mirror exercise in just a bit. Here's my suggestion for single dads, because I think on some level, guys want to hang on to that macho, like, I ain't going to do this fucking bullshit telling myself I love myself in the mirror. That's fine. But notice that first reaction, if that's your reaction. So in the Relational Project, who are you? What kind of a relationship do you have with you? When you look in the mirror, don't say anything. Just look in the mirror and notice what comes up. Do feelings of positivity about who you are? And that's the intention, is like you're trying to, okay, what am I? Who am I? Looking in the mirror. Do you get feelings of positivity? Are you like, look in the mirror like, I'm a stud? Or are feelings of negativity coming up? It's a hard exercise. It's simple, but very difficult. So my experience with the mirror exercise, I read the book. I didn't read the whole book, just honesty here. I got to that part where she's talking about the mirror. And I'm like, I'm going to try this. And I looked in the mirror and I started saying those words, I love you. And I started to cry. That fucked me up because I didn't expect it. I didn't expect it. And I think I didn't expect it because I didn't realize how effective this exercise was going to be for me personally, to tap into just looking in the mirror back into my own eyes and saying, I love you. And that reaction, the crying, was like, this is bullshit. Like, I don't have love for you. You're a fucking asshole. Because at the time I was going through my divorce. So my suggestion, if you want to tap into who you are on a relational level, a relationship with you, what kind of a relationship do you have with you? My suggestion is try the mirror exercise and notice what comes up. You don't have to say anything. You don't have to tell yourself you love yourself or whatever. Just don't say anything. Just look in the mirror and see what comes up. So, little ad break here. I drive forklifts working overnights in a warehouse, and the forklift I was driving recently went down for repairs. It wasn't a hydraulic issue, but if it was, my friends over at chosenonehose.com would have had that forklift up and running by now. Do you need custom hydraulic hoses and fittings that deliver? Call my friend John at 847-893-0084. For over 40 years, Chosen One has been the go-to partner for businesses in Chicagoland. Their expert team crafts top-notch solutions tailored to your needs, fast and built to last. Power your operation with the best. Visit chosenonehose.com today. I know if the forklift I was driving had a hydraulic hose issue, my friend John at Chosen One Hose would have taken care of it by now. That's chosenonehose.com, 847-893-0084. Don't forget to ask for spares. John wanted me to let you guys know that. We'll have their info on the screen and in the description below. One more time, chosenonehose.com, 847-893-0084. Ask for John. Here we are on the intellectual project. How do you take this mind and focus it in a way where you want to understand like who you are. So the question I have in my outline is, who or what controls your mind? And the good question, I guess, or the appropriate question to ask for that is like, who is listening? And I'm not talking about like the gatekeeper, like if you ever go into like brain stuff or mind stuff online, you'll hear people talking about the conscious mind, the unconscious mind. The conscious mind is the gatekeeper to like what you let in. The unconscious mind doesn't filter anything. I'm going beyond that. Like don't think about gatekeepers or anything like that. And so one of the exercises, and it's a very, very like mini small exercise, it's on an audio that I'll play for you here in a second. There's a person that was interviewing Deepak Chopra. And this interview was like way back, 2004, 5, 6, 7, somewhere in there. And so the basic question that Deepak had for the audience was, who's listening? But he took the audience through like a little, and it's not even that long. It's like not even 30 seconds. But he took the audience through this like, who's listening? Like pay attention to who's listening. And this exercise goes all the way back to the spiritual exercise of just sitting with nature. A lot of these exercises that I'm putting forth here for you is just sitting in silence, being quiet, being with yourself. So I'm going to play this MP3 of Deepak Chopra and just take a listen. And when he's talking about like, who's listening, like try to tap into that. Who's actually listening? Let me play this for you now.
So, of course, we have different words, bardos and so on. But here we wake up from the waking state into what Vedanta calls the fourth state of consciousness. The fourth state of consciousness, when you have a first glimpse of your soul. People have, when they had that, it's been very dramatic for them. So Walt Whitman says, I must not be awake, for everything looks to me as it never did before. Or else I'm awake for the first time, and all that was before was just a dream. Okay? Or Gautama Buddha himself. This lifetime of ours is as transient as autumn clouds. To watch the birth and death of beings is like looking at the movements of a dance. A lifetime is like a flash of lightning in the sky, rushing by like a torrent down a steep mountain. But now I'm awake, which is the meaning of the word Buddha. He's asked at the moment of his death, are you a prophet? He says, no. Are you the Messiah? He says, no. He says, who are you? He says, I'm awake. That's all he says. That's the meaning of the word Buddha, the awakened one. Waking up from the insubstantial reality into glimpsing the soul. So actually we could try something right now with you. So you could glimpse it even this moment. As you're listening to me, just turn your attention to who's listening. So as you're listening to me, just turn your attention to who's listening. There's a presence there. It's not your mind. Your mind is still noisy. But just turn your attention to who's listening. And that silent witness, that ever-present witnessing awareness, is the soul. And once we start glimpsing it, then we start to peel the layers of that. And that ever-present witnessing awareness is there even in deep sleep, even in dreams, and even in wakefulness. So the experience that Bob was saying, you're dying and you see the body out there, and you can witness it. Well, both Buddha and Vedanta say, you can do that now. You don't have to wait till the moment of death. And if you enter that now, you will not fear death. Why? Because the unknown then will be known to you, as Tagore says.
So that little exercise that Deepak went through with the audience, when I heard that like way back a long time ago, I found it fascinating. It has stayed with me all these years. When I catch myself in moments of reflection and going inside, this little exercise always comes back. I mean, even when I'm in traffic and I'm pissed off and I'm yelling at the fucking people driving around me, there's a moment in that anger where this, like he calls it, the silent witness is there. And that pulls me, I mean, for a moment, I'm trying to get better at it, but that pulls me out of the anger of being in traffic and shit. So try the exercise. It's very simple. You don't need Deepak. You don't need me. You just ask yourself, like, what's there? Who's listening? When you're silent, when you're happy, when you're sad, when you're angry, you can ask this question and it'll pull you right back into, I believe it'll pull you right back into who you are. Okay, this is the physical project. This is a little bit closer to my wheel well, since it wasn't too long ago that I was training clients, doing boot camps, things like that. So how do you get to who you are on the physical level? Simple question. How does your body feel? If you work out often and you don't have a lot of injuries, your body probably feels really good. If you don't work out and you're more of a couch potato, like where I'm at right now, your body probably doesn't feel too good at all. So that's your indicator. Like, and let's just say you don't work out and your body still feels good. That's a good place to be. You don't necessarily have to, like, working out does not equate to my body feels good. Let me just say that. You can be a non-workout person and your body will probably feel just fine. The majority of people, however, when you don't work out, things tend to get stagnant. And that goes to my second point here on my outline. Do you move your body or is it idle? And the way I like to think about it, and to help you think about it, is think of stagnant water or dynamic water, water that's flowing, that's moving. If you go look this up, stagnant water usually breeds bacteria, parasites, all kinds of shit. Mosquitoes live in stagnant water. Stagnant water usually on some level, I think, loses some of its oxygenation. Hopefully I'm saying that word right. It loses its oxygenation. So that's where all that, it's a breeding ground for that kind of stuff. The bacteria and the parasites and all that kind of stuff. Versus dynamic water that's moving, is more oxygenated. It's flowing. It's healthier for us as humans. So think of, I mean, our bodies are like whatever percentage they say, 60, 70, 80% water. So do you move your body or is it idle? And I would suggest that the more you move your body, the more in tune you are with who you are as a person on the inside. Simply because that movement helps alleviate a lot of the negativity that comes at us through stress or whatever. I can say back when I was going through my divorce, I was doing this workout. Some of you will remember it. Some of you may not know what it was, but it was called Insanity, and a lot of high intent, like in interval training, high intensity interval training. I was going through the divorce, not happy with myself, hating myself, feeling a lot of guilt, a lot of shame around that situation. And the one thing that I could do was work out. That's back in that point in time in my life, I felt like that's the only control I had in the world. Didn't have a job, didn't have a car, even though I was borrowing cars to drive around. Didn't have a home, didn't have a family, didn't have my daughter, didn't have anything. The only thing I had control over was this little vehicle I was driving around in my body. And I was so pissed off at myself for letting the marriage go to where it went and going through the divorce, I hated this person sitting in front of you right now. And I wanted to beat the shit out of this person sitting in front of you right now. And the only way I could do that is I was too fucking scared to commit suicide. I was too scared to hurt myself in that way. I figure, you know what? I'm going to put myself through some torture. I'm going to go do this insanity workout. And the insanity workout, the program, brought me out of that depression and all that bullshit. Just saying. Move your body. On some level, I believe it'll help pull you out of the bullshit of the day. Like I said earlier in the show, as single dads, we go through a lot of bullshit. There's a lot of stress hitting us. How do you fight that? How do you fight against that? How do you prepare? Move your body, get in shape. It's going to help out a lot. So I have an exercise for you. Just like all the other segments, we did like little mini exercises. This one, because there are, like I said, I think on some level, guys are just like, we want to hold on to that macho, like, I can fucking do anything. Okay. So this is a little mini workout that I used to put my clients through, my training clients. And the strongest of the strong, the most in shape guys, I'm not talking about the women, guys, when I put them through this little mini workout, they were on the floor with their eyes like, holy shit, I can't believe I got my ass kicked like that. So this exercise isn't meant to kick your ass. The way I looked at it as a trainer is it's a baseline. And the baseline is basically letting you see, where am I? So here's how the exercise works. I don't know if we're going to have this on the screen somewhere. I got it on my little iPad. I basically write out my workouts as a formula, like a code. But I'm going to explain it here where it's easy. So if you see the formula on the screen somewhere, I'm going to explain it. It's 3 exercises, 30 seconds each, 3 circuits or 3 rounds. Okay. So simple exercises. You're doing a squat, you're doing a push-up, and you're doing a sit-up. And they're back to back. So you set up a timer. You do your squats for 30 seconds. After the 30 seconds is done, right away you drop to the floor. You do push-ups for 30 seconds. After the 30 seconds is done, you turn over, do sit-ups for 30 seconds. After that 30 seconds is done, that's the first round or first circuit. You get back up and you do squats again. Squats, push-ups, sit-ups, squats, push-ups, sit-ups, squats, push-ups, sit-ups. 30 seconds, 30 seconds, 30 seconds, 30 seconds, 30 seconds, 30 seconds. If I remember right, if my math is right, that should be a 4-minute workout. So 4-minute exercise, very simple. Everybody knows how to do squats. Sit on your ass, get up, sit on your ass, get up. Push-ups, everybody knows how to do. Sit-ups, a lot of people have issues with them, but just try. Just like, I got somewhat of a belly here going on now these days. Try to get your sit-up in. Do this exercise. Tell me how your body feels. If you're in shape, you're going to be like, oh man, that was kind of a kick-ass workout. But I can handle it. If you're not in shape, this is going to probably make you throw up a little bit. But at least you're going to know, where am I with this physical body? Where am I? And that's the answer that we're trying to, that's the question that we're trying to answer. Before we dive into the financial project, one quick side note. Are you tired of scraping by? I know single dads that are working 2 full-time jobs just to make ends meet. What if there was an easy side hustle out there that didn't require full-time hours, but you got full-time pay? Like making up to $50 an hour, writing letters from your couch. No suit, no stress, no cash. Or no cash, just cash. I read that wrong. That's funny. No suit, no stress, just cash. Request info at the link on the screen here somewhere below. And yeah, can you really earn extra cash just from writing letters? Pop the link in your browser. We're not putting it in the description just yet, but pop the link in your browser and find out. Okay, we're at the financial project here. question, what do you cost you? How much do you cost to be you? Growing up, for me personally, I didn't learn about money. I didn't really care about money. Going all the way into I would say like my late 30s, after the divorce, is when money started to get real for me, and not making the money, but just understanding, like, where do my bill, like, I get paid and then I have these bills, and then at the end of the week I don't have enough. Like, where is it all going? Like, what is how come people get rich, and why are people poor? And like, I started asking all these questions about money. And I would say not too long ago, one of the things that came up was like, I was never really into budgeting, and still not really into budgeting, but I wanted to track this came from actually the personal training side, because one of the things that I was doing with my clients was like, we weigh you, we get your body fat test, we do the measurements, are you benching 200 pounds this week? In 3 months, let's get you up to 225. You want to track it. So I figured, I'm like, fuck it. Like, let me take this concept and put it into my financial life. So what do you cost you? How much do you cost yourself? Like, what does it cost to live, to be Henry, to be PJ, to be whoever is watching this? And the other idea I want to throw at you that's on my little outline here is, just because you have money, for those of you that have money, doesn't mean you know money. Two quick examples. On the Discovery Channel, I watched Discovery Channel. They have these survival shows. And on the survival shows, they're usually bringing out like the experts, the survival experts. And every once in a while on these shows, the survival experts get a surprise. They get caught because they were doing something stupid. And later, towards the end of the show, they're like, I shouldn't have done that. I know better, blah, 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 blah. Same thing with another example, driving. I'm 50 years old as we're shooting this show. I've been in accidents, even though I've been driving, I don't know how many years. By now, you would think, hey, we're all, especially those of us that are a little bit older, who've been driving for a while. I've driven cross country to, from one end of this country to the other end of the country, right? Everywhere. All different kinds of environments, snow, rain, whatever. And yet you still get in accidents. I mean, if you think of even professional drivers, you watch NASCAR, those guys get in accidents. The point I'm trying to make is, money doesn't, just because you have money, if you're watching this and you have money, doesn't mean there isn't going to be something out there that surprises you or catches you off guard. There's a financial accident waiting to happen. So the reason why I say that is because for those who are watching, and I put myself in this camp, who are not experts with money, you want to be more aware of what the money game is. Like, what does money do? So here's a simple exercise. Just to start, where am I at? Add up what it costs you to live, to be you right now. What is your rent, your mortgage? What's your car note, if you have one? What's your phone bill? Put the bills that are static, basically the ones that are there all the time. Don't include food. Don't include gas for the car right now. Just put down, what does it cost for me to live right now? Take that number, and now if you were like me in the past, you're like, I got this fucking paycheck and it went out the window. Like, where is it all going? Do this little exercise and you're going to know where a majority of your money is going at the end of the month, at the end of the week, or whatever. Add it all up. And that's all you have to do with it right now. One of the things that I'd like to do for this show is bring on people that are better at money than I am. I can't help those of you who are above me financially. I can help the ones that are below me, but I can't help the ones that are above me. And there's a lot of people out there that I know, like I said, working through the industries that I've worked in, whether it was on the real estate side, in the gym industry. You get to know a lot of people, and some of those guys I want to bring on this show and talk about money to help you get better at money. But I know for myself, and if you're kind of struggling, one of the easiest things to do is just track it, map it. Where am I at? And don't criticize it, don't judge it, don't try to change it right now. Just look at that number of those items that you add up and see where you're at. And then now you have an idea of what it costs to be you. Okay, we're at the last project on my outline. However you do these projects is up to you. You don't have to do them in order. This is just the way we're shooting it. So the project is business. And as I was going through working on the outline this week for the show, I've done business in the past, but not like I'm not a regular business person. I don't own a business, nothing like that. I mentioned in the last video that PJ and I put together music videos. We used to do video projects for corporate. I ran a film festival. So I understand like the little nuances of business, of selling people, marketing, things like that. But as I was going through this this week, preparing for the show, one of the things that came up was like, I don't understand like what's a question to ask for single dads that are maybe looking to get into business, single dads that already have a business, single dads that are doing the side gig hustle thing. I didn't know where to go with this. And so I went online and started asking the AI Grok, what does the Bible say about business? Like, let me go back in history and see what it says. And Grok came back and said, in the Bible, there is no business the way we understand it in the modern times. There was trade, there was, sheep herders or whatever, people that raised cattle, people that grew crops. And there was trade there, but it wasn't business as we know it today. And the thing that kept coming up when I was doing the research for this show was this idea of stewardship. And so one of the things that I wanted to talk about here today with this project of business is whether you have a business in the modern sense or not, you must understand or understand, get inside that your business is stewardship. And I'll get to what that means in just a bit, but a couple of other things that kept coming up in the research I was doing, like trying to tackle these questions and getting the answers out of Grok to tell me like, hey, what does the Bible say about this? In the Bible, God rewarded the good and faithful servant. And we'll kind of go into that a little bit later, but so here's the question. Are you a good and faithful servant? How would you know? I mean, I'm not raising sheep. I'm not out there squeezing olives into like whatever, like they did back in the old days in the Bible. How would I know if what it says in the Bible, like, hey, God's going to reward you if you're a good and faithful servant? Well, I don't do that shit. Like, how am I a good and faithful servant now in 2025? And the answer that came up for me was honesty. And that was kind of what played out in those stories in the Bible. The good and faithful servant was honest. The moment you hide, you're being dishonest. This is one of the things that came up for me going through the divorce. I'll talk about that in another part of this project, the Single Dad Project, what happened with the divorce and my marriage and all that kind of stuff, so you guys can relate. But for now, just know that the concept of honesty kept coming up. And in the Bible, Adam was hiding in the bushes, covering his body with fig leaves. They denied Jesus 3 times. All you see this constantly, these little stories. And it's not just in the Bible. You see it in our lifetimes. How often do we see celebrities, sports figures, politicians, your neighbor, your girlfriend, your wife, your brother, your sister, your mom, your dad? Everybody's dishonest. Everybody is. So if everybody's dishonest, how do we become honest? And my answer is, from what I've been reading and gathering over the years, is you already are. God gave it to you through intention. And I'm going to read some of this stuff, so bear with me because I'm going to be going through my little notes here. Going all the way back to the beginning of this talk. Remember I said the beginning is the end and the end is the beginning. Who are you is how we started this thing. Get inside this inner circle and this inner sphere of who you are. For me, the answer I got this week was kind of revelation through the projects and trying to come up with the outline and put together a good show for you guys is, who am I is intention. That's the answer I got for me. You've probably heard the phrase, great intention, poor follow through. So like, I don't want to be in like great intention, poor follow through. Why do I want to be just intention? And my answer to that is, intention does not need follow through in the spiritual dimension. Intention needs follow through when it manifests into this 3D reality we call life. So follow through requires action. In other words, it requires work, effort, and another word that I found in this going through the Bible stuff, cultivate. Now here's the thing. For a long time, and even still to this day, I hate the concept of work. I don't want to work. I want to enjoy things. I want to have fun. But one of the things that I've been learning through going through this stuff is like, work is a requirement. So the answer I got was like, who am I? I am intention. Intention in the sense that this is something that was given to me through my creator. And now that I'm here in 3D space, I gotta do something with that intention. I can't just sit on my ass. And so a couple of things here. In Genesis chapter 2, just a food for thought, right? And if you're not religious, I don't care. I don't go to church every day. I'm just giving you concepts that are on a philosophical level are very insightful and makes you think. So Genesis chapter 2, chapter 2, verse 7. Then the Lord God made man from the dust of the ground, and he breathed into his nose the breath of life. Man became a living being. The breath of life for me is the intention. God didn't make you, or in this case, didn't make man to be a static clay figure. He wanted you to move. And not only move, which we'll get to, verse 15, then the Lord God took the man and put him in the Garden of Eden to cultivate and care for it. God put man to work. And the little mini revelation that I've been having this week is work is not a form of punishment. It's a form of purpose. Why are we here? That's the question everybody asks. Why am I here? What am I doing? These little revelations that I've gotten over the years, and it's not a one and done. I feel like doing this podcast and going through this outline this week has given me this revelation again. Like, hey man, you like to be lazy, but that's not the answer. get your ass up and do something. And like I said, I kind of have this aversion to work and the word work, but the word cultivate is completely different. And I'm going to get to that in just a little bit here. So and again, like I said in another segment here, I suck at referencing shit. I'll try to do a better job. I found all these little definitions online. Stewardship, the careful and responsible management of something that has been entrusted to one's care. And in this sense, I'm going to say entrusted to your care as a single dad. And I'm going to get to the specific what has been entrusted to you. It can refer to managing resources, property, or even a person's life. This is the Single Dad Project. We're having a conversation here. So stewardship to me means I've been entrusted to take care of me and my body and my life and the life of my child. That's powerful. That goes beyond business. And that's why I said earlier, your business, I might have said it earlier, I might have it here later in the notes. Your business is the business of stewardship. As a single dad, I would suggest to ride on that concept. If you wanted to go if you have a job, I have a job. If you want to go do the side hustle, if you want to go drive Uber, whatever, if you have an actual business, that's all great and good. I want you to take that and apply a bigger concept to it, which is stewardship. Your business is stewardship. As a single dad, I think, like I said, I was going through this week and I was like, holy shit, I can't believe like this has been out there and I've missed it. Stewardship. Let me read that one more time real quick. The careful and responsible management of something that has been entrusted to you. It can refer to managing resources, property, or even a person's life. And then I looked up what does entrusted mean? To put something into someone's care or protection. I mean, if that's not the definition of a dad, I don't know what the fuck is. The Bible kept coming up with this word diligent. And I looked up the meaning for the word diligent. Having or showing care and conscientiousness in one's work or duties. Again, there's that word work. And then so I looked up conscientiousness just to see because these are words that kept coming up again and again and again. So conscientiousness, the quality of wishing to do one's work or duty well and thoroughly, meticulous, careful. So careful, all these words kept coming up. And so my understanding and this little mind understanding that I have is work equals cultivate. So work now isn't equaling this bad thing. Like I got to go fucking to this warehouse and get dirty and deal with people and all this bullshit that happens at work. That's not what it's about. It's to cultivate. So now it gives me a different purpose and it gives me a drive to do bigger and better. So the word cultivate. The definition I found was, and there's a lot of definitions out there, but this is the one that hit: to prepare, to put effort in, or to foster the growth of something, whether plants, skills, or relationships through care and attention. Again, all these words keep coming up. So those are this week's projects. If you want to jump on this journey with us, practice the projects. What's the purpose for this practice? Is intention. Get back to who you are. Discover who you are. That's basically it for what we're trying to do. Okay, that's a wrap for this week's Single Dad Project. I hope you got a lot of information. My name is Henry, producer PJ over here, reminding you again, the beginning is the end, and the end is just a new start. Work or cultivate your project. Pick one, whether it's spiritual, relational, intellectual, physical, financial, or business, or what I'm going to probably start calling it stewardship. Pick one or pick all six, doesn't matter to me, and cultivate them. And just to kind of give you like, well, okay, what am I going to do with this? So I've given you a little outline here. Here's my suggestion. And this is kind of how I was doing it anyways. I got it on my calendar. I've had this on my calendar for years. This is how I worked it. Sunday was my spiritual day, first day of the week. Go out and be still in nature. That's the project. That's the challenge. Try it to get to inner you. Monday, relational. Try the mirror exercise that I was mentioning from Louise Hay. You don't have to say anything. Just look yourself in the mirror and notice what comes up. What are you feeling when you sit in front of you and look at you? Tuesday, intellectual. Try the exercise from Deepak Chopra. You don't need him. You don't need the audio. We got it here. But just ask yourself the question, who's listening? In this moment, who's listening? Is my mind talking? Is that who's listening? Is it my mind? No, it's beyond the gatekeeper. Go beyond. Wednesday, physical. We're going to put the exercise here. Just a quick recap. The exercise is the workout, calling it the exercise, the workout is 3 exercises. Do a squat, do a push-up, do a sit-up. Each exercise is 30 seconds. Each exercise is 30 seconds each. 30 second squats, 30 seconds push-ups, 30-second sit-ups, 3 times. So you should have a total of 4 minutes when you do this workout. Thursday, financial. Add up what it costs to live, to be you right now. So take your mortgage, take your rent, take your phone, take your car bill, gas bill, electric bill, internet, whatever those static bills are, whether you got Netflix, you got a gaming account, put all the bills that hit you every month on certain days of the month and add those up, and you have the cost of what it costs to live, to be you. Don't add the food, because food prices fluctuate and all that kind of stuff. You just want a number. This is what I used to tell people when I was training them. I don't give a shit about the number that's on the scale. I just need something to start with. I don't care if your scale is off by 5 pounds. I don't care if this scale is off by 2 pounds. I don't give a shit. I just need that number to start. And then we'll keep using that scale, even though it's 5 pounds off. I don't care. We'll just keep using that scale to see to track where we're going. So when you're doing the financial one, just the bills that hit you every month. That's all you need to know right now. And then finally, Friday, business or stewardship. Understand or understand stewardship, the careful and responsible management of something that has been entrusted to your care. Single dads. I was saying this in the spiritual segment or the business segment. What has been entrusted to you is your child. This is why we're here. There's more to being a single dad. I get that. But if you're coming to this show, my intention for you, for me, is to live your life in a way where you're leaving something for your kids. That it's hard to put words into this. You're leaving something for them so that they know who you are. That to me is stewardship. Okay, and then Saturday, we do just like God did in the Bible, you take a rest. Nothing to do on that day. So that's the show. Join our weekly community project challenges. I just gave them to you. Work, or better yet, cultivate those projects. Drop your progress in the comments. Let me know how it's going for you. Do you like the advice? Do you think I'm full of shit? And if you think I'm full of shit, go back to the Bruce Lee philosophy that I mentioned earlier, way at the beginning of the show. Take what works for you and dump the rest. And use what works for you and bring in what works for you and make it better. Okay? So drop your progress, drop your stories. I'd like to hear from you in the comments. Let's build this better. Let's keep building better lives together. I think that's going to help. Community. If you want, hit subscribe so you don't miss the next show. We're going to be dropping these shows on Mondays. Until then, stay inspired, stay accountable, and live with purpose. We'll see you guys next week.